need everyone to pay attention, okay? We attempted to do this on the other live stream, but that crashed, so I got to do it all over again. It's very frustrating, but we got to do it all over again. I'm talking about Jeremy Sochan, and I'm going to do some Jeremy Sochan propaganda because I want to bring something up that I feel like no one talks about and people just completely look over. And I understand. We got Victor Wembanyama now, right? You're going to ignore the toy that you used to play with. Kind of pause on that a little bit. But with Jeremy Sochan, it's not, I don't understand how he doesn't still get the praise, especially when people say, well, he's the same player he was last year, and everyone loved him last year. So I'm gonna do some Sochan propaganda. Okay, not all propaganda is bad propaganda. This is good propaganda. But before we get into that, really quick, we have a word from our sponsor.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
Okay, so big shout out to BetUS for not only sponsoring this video and sponsoring this live stream, but sponsoring the channel as a whole for the entire season. It means the world to me. It should mean the world to you guys. So check it out. So I just want to talk a little bit about BetUS. They are a sports book. They do different player props. You can combine props. You can say, hey, this player's have this many points plus the win. This player have under this many points plus a loss. I don't know, whatever you want to put. You have so many different combinations. But most importantly, if you guys go to the link in my description, you will receive 125% bonus. What does that mean? You put in $100, you're going to get $125 to play with. So one thing I absolutely love doing, so on the other live stream when we were cut off, we did NBA championship winner. Let's do Western Conference winner, just out of curiosity. Let's see what the odds are for our San Antonio Spurs. We are last, ladies and gentlemen. But if for some reason, some strange reason, you want to put a risk on that, $10, that's $5,000. That is five. If the Spurs win the Western Conference, if they win the Western Conference, if they're a winner in the Western Conference, ladies and gentlemen, $10 we get you $5,000. Don't do that. That would be a bad idea. I would probably go with, let's see, someone with a little bit of risk, but also doable. I don't know if I'll go with Lakers. Maybe Clippers. Clippers odds are pretty decent. Out of curiosity, let's see here. Let's do 10. 10 give you 45. That's not bad. That's not bad. Well, obviously it would. It's plus 450. I'm dumb. Anyways, if you guys want to support the channel, support me. You support the sponsors, you're supporting me. So please go check it out at the very least. And remember to always bet responsibly. All right, Jeremy Sochan propaganda. You guys ready? You guys ready? Okay, so I said this in last stream. I'll say it again. So this was a post that I did. Okay, not mean to pat myself on my back here, but this was back March 23rd, 2022. And I promise that this is segueing into something. So these were my top 5. I had Jeremy Sochan at 1, Tari Eason at 2, Benedict Mathurin at 3, Dyson Daniels at 4, and Jang at 5. And the reason why I chose Jang at 5 is because I felt like he was obviously a project player. But if, you know, big chunk of these guys are already gone, then maybe you go with Jang just to, you know, try it out. But thus far, I feel like I've been pretty good with my picks here. Dyson Daniels, he's a very versatile player. I feel like he hasn't necessarily been utilized as well as he could with New Orleans. Mathurin is exactly who we thought he was. Tari Eason, I think he's still got to come into his own a little bit. But Sochan by far has made the biggest leap between him and Tari, at least. So, and he's 2 years younger. But right here, this is what I had to say about Sochan, and I still believe this, right? So Sochan is by far my favorite. While he really needs to improve his shooting, I absolutely love his strength, basketball IQ, and defensive prowess. He brings a ton of energy and is always first one on the floor with 50-50 balls. If he improves his shooting, he would be an undeniable steal. If he improves his shooting, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I get upset, because guys like Sochan and guys like Wemby, okay, I'm not saying talent-wise, but their mentality, this isn't easy to come by. You don't just, these types of players don't just grow on trees. And what do I mean by that? I mean, Sochan worked tirelessly, because if you look here and look at his percentages, his 3-point percentages, he was averaging 24%. His percentage was 24.6% from 3, and he bumped it all the way to 37. I don't think people understand how absolutely insane that is, to bump it that degree that quickly. That's actually insane. That was the biggest flaw in his game, was his shooting. And if everything can come together, he can be an absolute monster. Now, I will admit and say that finishing around the rim has been pretty bad, but he's proven even in college and in his first year in the NBA, he can finish around the basket. Okay, he's capable of doing it. He was just struggling quite a bit. Maybe mostly because he had to change his position for a little while and work on that and become a better player in that regard. But anyways, that's besides the point. But his assists have gone up, but the 3-point percentage, that's what I want to key in on, because good enough is never good enough with a player like this. And I don't necessarily think that people need to just see this and say, oh, that's not that big a deal. It is a big deal, because he's always adding to his game. He can easily, and this is why I say him and Wemby got the same mindset, okay? Not the same talent, but the same mindset. Because Wemby, for instance, he could easily just lean on his athleticism, his length, and he will have a fulfilling career in the NBA. He'll always have a job in the NBA, have a good, 12, 15 years in the NBA, make his money and get out. But he doesn't think like that. He's like, yeah, I'm good at these things, I'm good at this thing, but I want to be good at this too, and I want to add this to my game, and he's a sponge. And this is the same way Sochan is, because this type of hard work is not easy to come by. This is not a player that just said passively, well, yeah, I'm pretty good on defense and everything, and I could just be a hustle player, and that's what I'm going to be in my career. No, this is thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of 3-point shooting for him to get it to this degree. This is ridiculous. This is not normal. And it's not just, oh, he's had a good span. He's been consistently at this 37%. I think when it's all said and done in his career, he'll come back down to earth a little bit, probably be around 35, 34, 33 maybe, and that's good enough. But coming into the league before the Spurs even made a pick, I was saying that I think that Jeremy Sochan definitely needs to work on that part of his game, and that was the only thing that I was worried about. But the one thing that I was never worried about is his work ethic and his mentality, because even in college, while his 3-point shooting was terrible, there's a difference between a guy like Ben Simmons and a guy like Jeremy Sochan. Ben Simmons, immense talent. All right, crazy great talent. At one point, I thought, hey, maybe he can come to the Spurs and we can, work on some things and everything, because he was just that talented. But with Jeremy Sochan, the big difference between those two, when people were trying to draw those comparisons, which I think is closer to comparison to Draymond Green and Sochan than Ben Simmons and Sochan, but when people were trying to make that comparison, Sochan actually takes the shots. In college, he would take shots. He was just missing them. So it showed that he does have confidence in his shot, and he's not scared to make mistakes. So just to quantify a little bit, so I know it's the percentages, you see that, but let's break this down a little bit more, okay? This is the difference between last year and this year. And when I say last year, I mean 56 games played, 53 starting games in which he started. You want to know how many threes he made? 33. For the entire season, he made 33 threes. He took 134 and made 33. Thus far in this season, which it might be a little different now because some other games went by, but thus far in this season, we're talking 37 games. He's made 35. He's already at, we're in January. He's already passed how many threes he made last season with 94 attempts. This isn't normal. This is a guy that's not complacent with where he is as a player. Good enough is never good enough. And he's this way. Wemby's this way. I even think Devin Vassell is that way. But these players, this is a really good foundation that the Spurs have. Does Sochan have flaws? Yes, he has flaws. But you know what? He's a sophomore, and what he's averaging is actually very impressive for his size and for all the different changes and different things that Popovich has thrown at him thus far. This dude is going to be serious. It's going to be very serious. And it's so funny because this is kind of a rando, right? This is a rando that brought this up, but he was like, well, Clan, I mean, I hear what you're saying, right? But like, I mean, you must not know basketball, man. I could beat you in basketball, and I think that Sochan's not going to be good. Basically saying that he's better basketball knowledge than I am because he believes that he could beat me in basketball. He probably couldn't, but I didn't really engage in that middle school argument. But with that, if anybody has that type of mentality where I played in college or I played in high school or whatever type of mentality you have, listen to Pat Bev then. I don't know. Pat Bev would beat you in basketball. And Pat Bev said that he reminds him of Kawhi Leonard as far as a guy that you don't expect to be a star, but he could potentially be one. I won't go that far to say like he'll be a superstar because Kawhi is a superstar. But I do think that people underrate him quite a bit. And if his floor end up being Draymond Green, that's good enough. But these type of connector roles at that power forward position is not easy to come by. It's not. Sochan is also shooting a little quicker behind the line. Yeah, dude, free throw percentage. Look at his free throw percentage. 70 up to 77%. This is not normal. This is a guy that was relentless. You remember when they said that Kawhi was a gym rat? Sochan is a gym rat. I think it's overlooked because of his personality. It's overlooked because of the hair, and you know, I think it's overlooked because of who he is and his character. But like, I mean, I think he has good character, at least from what we've seen thus far. But it's always overlooked because people say, oh, he's just a clown. Oh, he just trolls people all the time. Oh, all he is twisting nipples and talking trash. And it's like, no, he's a skilled player. He's a skilled player. Jeremy free throws look good. They look way better than they did at the beginning of last season. Let's see. Actually, free throws made. Yeah, this percentage is insane. Yeah, actually kind of insane. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that stand out. This stands out. Last season, for 56 games, 53 games started, he had 142 assists. This season, in just 37 games, 20 games less, he's up to 146. So he's already surpassed that. He's on pace to have the same steals numbers, on pace to have the same block numbers. But yeah. Oh, crap. They even got his Baylor stuff here. Yeah, look. See, in Baylor, he shot 29% or 29.6%, and that's what I was worried about. And I was even more worried. Look at this. So this is another thing to look at. Free throw percentage. In Baylor, 58.9%. Jumped all the way to 69.8% in the NBA. This is not normal. And this is what I was worried, because every time people say, is he going to be a good shooter, they always look at free throw percentage. The only thing that gave me hope is because he could shoot around the basket. Like, he had really good touch around the basket with his floaters and everything. And that's also a good indication that you could end up being a good shooter. So not just looking at three-point percentage. But it did worry me a little bit. Oh, I didn't know that. It's ridiculous progress, dude. This is not a normal, like, oh, you know, a few percent better, you know. No, this is a huge leap. Do you know, like, the difference between a 58% or 59% three-point shooter and a 76, 77%? That's crazy, dude. Crazy. So I think that he should get way more credit for who he is, what he's doing, and the type of player he is. I hate how much hate this dude gets after a loss. I hate it. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So plenty of Jeremy Sochan propaganda coming. I'm not going to stop as long as, like, people don't stop hating on him. So, and I expect this from other people. Like, I expect this from Lakers fans to hate him, right? Like, he talked about LeBron. I expect that. I expect people that don't actually watch him to take certain plays and post them ad nauseum, and people share it and say, ha ha ha, look how trash Sochan is. I expect him to do that, right? He gotta have it coming to him, right? I'll admit that he has it coming to him, but I don't think that should be in our space. This space should not be that. The Spurs space should not be that at all, ever. Reserve that for certain players that deserve it. I truly do believe Kawhi Leonard, he deserved it. I don't care about people talking trash about him. Even at the time, talk trash. That was deserved. That was well deserved. How terrible that was the way he left. It was deserved. DeJounte Murray, I thought it was deserved while he was with us, but hey, people kind of back off and they didn't. They kind of closed their ears, closed their eyes, and didn't notice a lot of the passive aggressiveness. But after he left, he showed his butt, and I think it was warranted. But this Sochan, because he had some bad games here or there, some bad plays here or there as a sophomore, not deserved. I draw the line there. Not deserved. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Appreciate the in-depth analysis, Clan. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you. I wouldn't say it's that in-depth, but yeah, it was an analysis nonetheless.